All right, so yesterday, Abs from October Red did an interview with Ben Shalom. Now, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go watch it. October Red's a very, very good channel, has a very good interviewer. And, she was talking about Ben Shalom over several things. This was at the press conference for the Caroline Dubois and I think as well Callum Simpson is fighting on Saturday night. Now, during that interview with Ben Shalom, she asked him about, obviously, Ben Whittaker. And, when you talk Ben Whittaker, you have to talk about Liam Cameron because we know how the fight ended in October. It left a particularly bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, not just the fact that it was a draw when many people felt Liam Cameron should have won. The fact of the matter was how it ended. Ben Whittaker claiming he damaged his ankle. I mean, that ring must have been made of some absolute iron steel, and he must have hit it at 100 mile an hour to do that kind of damage. But he claimed it was an injury. I don't recall, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall he provided any evidence. I know some people would say, well, he was sat in a wheelchair. Listen, Little Britain did sketches of a guy in a wheelchair. Was he really? Like, did that prove anything? No. I don't recall him actually showing any medical concrete evidence, which the likes of, I think, Kell Brook have done in the past and stuff like that, just to say, look, it's legit, this, that, and the other. Ben Shalom was saying that Ben Whittaker will be back in the Midlands in April. He's a big show planned in April, and it will be Ben Whittaker, irrespective of who the opponent is. He'll be there. And he said, in a big way. In a big way. Well, let's wait and see. Now, he also said that an offer was made to Liam Cameron. Generally doesn't know the ins and outs of it. Now, Queensbury, I have it here on the tablet, released a statement. It's a lengthy one. It says, response to October Red interview with Ben Shalom. So I'll read this here verbatim. We can confirm we received an offer from Ben Shalom for Liam Cameron to fight Ben Whittaker. The offer was countered as we feel we could pay Liam more for the fight, and it included options on Boxer, options for Boxer on Liam should he win. So essentially what that would mean, you would imagine that Boxer would actually, even though he's a Queensbury fighter, Liam Cameron, Boxer would be able to, I wouldn't necessarily say promote him, but work with him on his next fight, which is not a particularly bad deal. Instead of negotiating or discussing our offer for the fight terms, we received communication back from Ben's that Ben's next fight will take place on a Boxer show, and if their offer was not accepted, then they will move on. Their offer being the one that they felt was too low, Queensbury, and obviously they went back with an offer that they felt was better and some options for Boxer should Liam Cameron win. They're saying no unless it's our original offer, which again Queensbury felt was low. It's not going to happen. Says it seems an odd reply as both boxers are with different promoters, and in this circumstance you tend to negotiate terms and the promoter prepared to pay the fighters the most amount typically stages the fight. The ultimate decision markers in whether the fight, the ultimate decision makers in whether the fight happens should sit with the boxer. We know Liam wants the fight and understand Ben does as well. In our opinion, and we feel this is one that's shared by boxing fans across the country, Cameron versus Whittaker 2 must happen in 2025 after the controversial ending and draw decision in October. Liam and Queensbury are ready and willing to trash out a deal and have no issue making the fights on any platform. It would be on the Zone if it happens in April because Queensbury will have already moved to the Zone. So it wouldn't be on TNT, so it wouldn't be on that rival, it would be on the Zone. I'll carry on. We hope Boxer are as well, and we look forward to positive and professional reply to our latest email sent this week, which has not yet been replied to. End of quote. Interesting. Now, I know what some people are going to say. How can we trust the word? Well, it might not necessarily be of Frank Warren, but certainly of Queensbury. Well, a tree is known by its fruits. I'm not talking about Ben Whittaker, I'm talking about another Ben. And how many times has he pulled fighters out of purse bids? How many times look at the Adam Museum, I can't remember the Dalton Smith issue. Look at that. He wins a European title. Dalton Smith is mandatory. He vacates. Originally, he was going to fight Harlem Eubank. It's like, what are you doing? Isaac Chamberlain, Chef Clark. I know he's with Nick Hennessy, and I know they were actually looking at the European title. So you could say, in theory, that's slightly different, but look, there's plenty of examples there. Now, my rationale behind this is two things. Maybe Ben Whittaker wants that rematch. Maybe Ben Shalom was worried because we saw, Liam Cameron was giving Ben Whittaker absolute hell in there. There's no ifs or buts about it. He's giving him absolute hell in there. Ben Whittaker hasn't looked good in a while now. A lot of people think that, the arrogance of Ben Whittaker. He does come, look, he is an arrogant guy. I know that. You can tell that by him. You look at someone like Josh Kelly, who's also arrogant, or it certainly came across as that, certainly in his younger days, but he still seemed to be someone who was willing to learn. He seemed that. I think he didn't help that Adam Smith was in love with the athleticism, but he seemed someone who was willing to learn. And there's a lot of comparisons in terms of, the kind of rise that both guys are having. Ben Whittaker is getting more hype than Josh Kelly, I think, ever was. But Ben Whittaker comes across to me as someone who's a bit of a know-it-all, and I don't want to listen. Sugar Hill has to come here. I don't want to go there. I'm going to train with this guy. I'm going to do that. And since he's really fallen into that mindset, he's struggled in a lot of these fights, or made fights harder than they need to be. Now, he may very well, prideful. He's clearly got pride there. He may very well want this fight, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Ben Shalom is looking, thinking, no, I can have you fight, because whether it's good or bad, people are watching you and people are going to tune in. All that performance is going to do, and the subsequent response after, remember the phone smashing incident, all that's going to do is put eyes on Ben Whittaker. Whether it be good or bad, I don't think Ben Shalom or Sky really care. It'll bring viewers to whoever he's fighting next. And the more money I'm thinking they can squeeze out of Ben Whittaker before he takes an L, and it'll be a bad L, the better. They might look at that Liam Cameron fight and think, do you know what, we don't want a Queensbury fighter coming over here, especially considering now he's got the backing of Queensbury, which he didn't have in the first fight. We don't want that. If it goes to the scorecards, if it goes pear-shaped, what are we going to do this time? As well as that, Ben Shalom will say, oh, we think it's going to be blah, blah, blah. He can say what he wants, right? I think that if, say, Frank Warren offered an X amount of money and say it went on the zone, he'd be worried about having, the Sky's marquee name, which is pretty much what Ben Whittaker is now at this point for Boxer and Sky, going and fighting on another platform. I don't think you'd want that in the slightest. And for me, it looks from the outside looking in that Ben Shalom is trying to lowball Liam Cameron and Queensbury. And when Queensbury are saying, okay, we can offer more, and look, we'll even, throw in a couple of terms there that you might like. And Queensbury is saying, well, they're not negotiating. They're actually saying, take this bad offer. Never mind the better offer you have. It'd be like saying to someone, this is the job that you applied for. It's a 30k job a year. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. I spoke to the managing director. He can actually give you an extra half hour's lunch, plus he can give you an extra $5,000 a year. Do you like that? No, it's the original offer, or I'm not taking this job. No one's going to do that, really. Seriously, no one's going to do that. So it is a strange one. We'll wait and see what Ben Shalom says on this one and what happens. Because as I said, a tree is known by his fruits. And Ben Shalom has been unwilling in the past to put his guys in there with rival promoters, fighters. You could say, well, he put him in with Liam Cameron in October. Well, Liam Cameron I don't know who was promoting him, if anybody, but he didn't have any backing. He didn't have a powerhouse like Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn. But I would say right now the power lies with Frank Warren in British boxing. I mean, if you have him in your corner, you're going to be doing what you're going to be looked after. Put it like that, if nothing else. And I don't mean that in a sense of you'll get a decision you shouldn't get. I think that if it's in a fight which you should be winning, you won't have anything to fear about. I think that's what happened with Frank Warren now. So it is an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron. If it happens in April, that's brilliant. It's a great fight. Surely he couldn't. Well, Ben Shalom, you wouldn't know. If they did do it, surely he wouldn't do it on pay-per-view. He wouldn't have the audacity. But then I say that, it's Ben Shalom. This guy has been something else since he arrived in boxing. I have to say. He's been... Yeah, I won't go in. But let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. I'll leave a link to the October Red interview. You can have a look. It's about the 10-15 minute mark where she starts talking about Ben Shalom, or to Ben Shalom about this fight. Let me know your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, people. Peace.